It is the first day of December, and in addition to figuring out what are some of the best ways that we can reduce our tax liability, a lot of businesses are also going to be working on strategic planning for their business and going into 2021. So, this is the perfect time to do so, and I put together 3 things that you can do if you're not sure where to even start or what you should tackle this month before going into 2021. So the first thing is figure out for your company what is going to be the big 3 things. The big 3 things that your company is going to tackle. The big 3 goals, the big 3 focus points, the key priorities, whatever you want to call them, and be specific. So, maybe it is a certain amount of revenue growth or a certain percentage of revenue growth. Maybe it's profitability or number of new clients coming in. Your team's success, if you can kind of rate your team success or your team happiness within your company. Maybe you have a certain number of new hires that you need to make, so you have hiring goals for your company. Software, maybe there's a certain software program that you want to make sure gets implemented in 2021. Number of bid opportunities for you, number of bids awarded. So figure out what are those 3 things that your company is going to tackle and accomplish in 2021, and make sure that you have your team's buy-in on those things. So that's number 1. Number 2 is going to go back and review some of those projects from 2020. And I know 2020 was a different type of year for a lot of people, but most of you were still working. You still had projects that you were wrapping up, that you were still working on. So I encourage you to go back and pick a handful of those projects, and don't go and pick ones that you're never going to do that type of work again. Pick ones that you want to focus on, you want your company to focus on. Add some variety, a couple of big projects, a couple of smaller projects, different type of work that you're working on. Some that are profitable, some that aren't profitable. Get both ends of that spectrum, and go back and do a thorough review of your projects. So review the proposal and the bid. Review the estimate and how it got handed off. Review the WIP schedules throughout the projects if you have those. Review the labor and the material, the subcontractor payments. The billing, was it timely? Was it not timely? Did it get returned? Did you have pencil copies that got accepted or not accepted? Go back and do a thorough review of those projects. And then kind of analyze and go back and do a summary of it. What went well in the project? What didn't go so well in the project? Even if it was a profitable job, what didn't go so well? Could this job have been more profitable? What could have made this job better? What are you able to learn from this job to take into 2021 and do better on the next one that's going to be like it? And it could be that your profitable job is great and you want to soak up everything that went really well so that you can duplicate those results in 2021. So it may be that your profitable job still had a lot of mistakes in there, and it could have been even better. So you want to focus on, take some of that information and how can that make you better in 2021. And then the third thing I want you to do is math for success. So we are going to look at what is one of our big 3 items. So let's say that it may be some revenue growth. Okay, now we're going to figure out how much do we need. If it's a percentage, what does that really mean? How does that turn into dollars in 2021? And for many of you with larger projects, your 2021 is going to be dependent on your backlog that you have now. So you might actually be doing this for the last 6 months of 2021 into the 2022 year. But then for many of you, if your job timelines are a little shorter, you're going to be doing this exercise now for February, March, April. So I want you to work backwards in this approach to figure out what is that goal. And if we're going to use revenue growth as an example for this. So what is that goal? What does that mean in dollar wise that you need for 2021? And then break that down into smaller timelines. And you're going to work backwards. So how many projects do you need to get that revenue? What average size are those projects? How many bids do you need to be awarded to get the number of projects that you need to hit that revenue target? How many contacts and conversations do you need to have to get the bid opportunities, to get the bid awards and the size of the projects that you need? And how are you going to get those contacts and conversations? So you're working backwards to figure out how you're going to get to your end goal. Put together a plan. So I'm going to recap for you what you can do in December this month to tackle 2021. We're going to focus on what are the big 3 things that our company can do or that we are going to do in 2021. We're going to go through the project reviews and highlight those projects and the wins and losses and fixes for each of those. And then do our math for success on how we're going to hit those goals in 2021. So if you have any questions on this or any other ideas or comments, feel free to reach out and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.